but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
Life is Strange True Colors is a beautiful art piece about the power of empathy and forgiveness. Psychology is everywhere in this game. Colors, the world design, even Alex's powers have a focus on mental health. Only through traumatic experiences is our hero able to help those around her on a deeper level. Losing someone important to us can be soul-crushing, although pain allows us to better understand and resonate with one another. By using her gift cultivated through sadness, she can uplift the ones she cares about. Her newfound friends help empower her as well. So many amazing elements of the narrative come from the gameplay. For example, we can get a better understanding of what Alzheimer's looks and feels like. We also explore a vast range of emotions firsthand. When we watch a movie, we see the expressions of an actor or an actress as outsiders. But when we are Alex, we live these emotions. Hands-on interactions like this give us so much insight into our own thoughts and feelings. Life is Strange True Colors also shows us the different ways people process grief. Charlotte and Ryan become consumed by rage. Steph is crippled with sadness. Gabe's life had so much value to those around him. The reactions of his friends make sense, but the game does a good job of pointing out healthy and unhealthy ways to process loss. Remembering good times can help us cope, but dwelling on the past can lead to heinous outcomes. Not to mention, we have some LGBT representation, which is awesome. So today, I wanted to break down the psychology in Life is Strange True Colors. I'm Berry. If you enjoy this content, like and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to hit that sub button and notification bell so you'll always see my latest videos. There's no better place to start than with the queen herself. Alex's life has been rough. She was thrown into foster care at an early age, separated from her brother, her last social resource. Going from home to home, she was never chosen for adoption. The foster care system is rough, so Alex had to grow up fast. She also went through extensive therapy to work on her behavioral issues. All of these depressing events add value to her life in ways she doesn't expect. These experiences impact her psychology greatly. She feels like she doesn't belong anywhere. Even the song Creep by Radiohead has so much meaning when she sings it. Many foster children deal with feelings of not belonging. Most of us at least have a few friends to rely on, but many in the foster system aren't afforded that same luxury. Having no one can feel isolating and dehumanizing. In psychology, there's a concept called imposter syndrome. It's the idea that a person feels inadequate or doesn't fit in regardless of their achievements. This is a problem that I deal with all the time. I constantly worry about being an outcast or not doing enough, in a similar way to our hero. Alex very much feels like she's a loser. No one chose me, so I'm better off alone.
I don't belong here.
She genuinely feels unloved because she's never had a stable source of support. Her sadness shades her perception of reality. She feels like an imposter in every sense of the word, but she has so many things to be proud of. She's an amazing singer and guitarist. Not to mention, she has an ungodly amount of empathy. All these traits are positive things that someone should be proud of, although our perspective is everything. The one thing I love about this game, we get to see how this person's life circumstances directly impact their mental health.
Fucking matters! He's dead! He's...
All of these crazy things that happened to her in the past help create mental armor to protect herself from harm. When she feels sad or low, she takes a moment to stop and breathe. Self-affirmations, such as saying things like, "You can do this," or "I believe in you," can be a powerful way to cope with adversity. What's really inspiring is what she does with this power. Many in Alex's position would look inward. Forget all these horrible people. I'll use my powers to protect myself. Even though she suffered so much, she still decides to help those around her. So we know Alex has had a rough life, but what are her powers? Why are they important to her character? Our hero seems to have the ability to empathize with people on a visceral level. Empathy is the ability to comprehend and feel what someone else does. The average person might be able to tell when someone is upset just by looking at them, but they aren't able to read this person's thoughts. Alex has such a high level of empathy, she can look into people's minds and experience reality and emotions from their perspective. Obviously, this is some video game shit, but it does speak to the power of empathy. We can help each other through tough times using our own lived experiences. Alex's empathetic power isn't just important to the narrative. People in Haven seem happy, but there are problems below the surface. Many struggle with deeply personal and challenging issues. Some of these problems they can't face alone and desperately need help. Alex, in a way, takes these people's burdens and makes them more manageable. It's important to note though, she's not treating people's problems, only helping them feel better about their situation. Eleanor will still have to deal with Alzheimer's, but her perspective around her difficulties changes because of Alex. Using an exaggerated version of an ability we all have is so powerful.
You're not alone.
We can't have the power of flight or superhuman strength in real life, but everyone can share another person's pain when they lose a family member or close friend. One last thing to note for this section is that Alex's gift mends her own broken heart. She constantly uplifts those around her, working tirelessly to help complete strangers. Alex's character changes after these interactions. Happiness and euphoria are feelings so foreign, she doesn't understand them at first. When she helps others, she's also helping herself. She has to face her fear to help Ethan, or to quell her anger to relieve Charlotte. By taking on others' lived experiences, she's thickening that mental armor we talked about earlier. Life is Strange shows us how many barriers empathy can break down. True Colors is a fantastic video game because it has so many layers of meaning. Even the title can have multiple interpretations. True colors could either mean the colors of emotions or people's real intentions. In psychology, we have 5 basic emotions: fear, happiness, sadness, disgust, and anger. Each one of these emotions is usually associated with a certain color. Red is for anger, because people can see red when enraged. Yellow stands for happiness because of the color's warmth and energy. Green is for disgust, because broccoli is disgusting. Blue represents sorrow because of its association with tears and depressive feeling. Last is purple, which is a mix of blue and red. If we take anger and sadness and combine them, then fear is the result. Life is Strange uses color as a means to convey how the characters feel non-verbally. The game is teaching us how to build empathy using color. We have to notice a certain shade, then compensate with the proper emotional response. If we come at Charlotte with anger, when she's already frazzled, we would only add fuel to the flame. Understanding people's unique needs can help so much in the healing process. Colors are a direct way to show the player how to read signs and signals appropriately. The second interpretation of colors isn't rooted in psychology, but dramatically impacts the narrative. Seeing someone's true colors can mean perceiving a person's actual intentions. This is one of the unintended consequences of Alex's powers. There are several points where she is able to suss out BS using her gift. Jed is a great bad guy because on the surface, he looks perfect. He's kind and endearing, as sweet as can be. Jed takes Alex in without a second thought, offering very nice accommodations without any expectation in return, or so it seems. Alex is the only one who can see his true colors. Using empathy, she makes Jed feel guilty for all his wrongdoings. I think a grounded ending like this reinforces the ideas we talked about earlier regarding empathy. Jed does awful things, but he isn't inherently evil. Only through empathizing with the pain of those he hurt can he grow and change as an individual. Natural beauty is such a great way to offset the more depressing moments in the narrative. This game is sad as hell. A small community in Colorado loses a shining beacon of hope and joy. Every character struggles to find meaning after losing a close friend. It's safe to say at this point, if a game is set in Colorado, you know it's going to be a downer. Both Life is Strange and The Last of Us have incredibly tragic stories set in the same place. Why? Nature's beauty can often be a counterbalance to our saddest feelings. In psychology, seeing nature can have a huge boost on our mental health and well-being. Some feel a greater connectedness to the earth, others find comfort in watching cute creatures scurry through the woods. Regardless of the reasoning, the natural world can help us feel better about ourselves and the spaces we inhabit. I believe the choice to set these titles in Colorado is intentional. media in general has a unique power. We can understand and empathize with the feelings a character has, even if we aren't currently experiencing them. Trigger warnings are a good example. When a game emulates an uncomfortable part of real life, companies offer a warning to help protect the player from triggers. While playing this game, I had very real emotional reactions from pixels on a screen. From a gaming company's perspective, what do we do when the story is primarily sad? We have to give the player relief in some form. To me, this is where natural beauty comes in. Seeing something colorful and uplifting can help us focus our attention elsewhere. Instead of thinking of how sad our unique circumstances are, we can focus on the peaceful sounds of flowing water. After I experience Alex's pain, I need to cheer up, so I go outside and play one of these uplifting scenery moments.
I'm a phoenix in the water, a fish that's learned to fly.
I can only speak to my experience, but seeing the beauty of this world made me feel hope again. Even though things will be sadder as we go down this depressing road, nature always has a way of bouncing back, finding a way to survive despite all odds. One of the most important things this game does is explain emotions through bodily experiences. Many people can understand a feeling they've never had by processing information, although this comprehension isn't the same as someone who's experienced these feelings physically. Showing players both the physical and emotional sides of feelings is crucial. Many who play this game might notice similar patterns in their own body and reach out to a professional for help. But the true power of showing the bodily consequences of our emotions is for those who haven't felt them. Someone who's never suffered from depression doesn't understand how much a person's body can hurt from internalized pain, or how the world feels like it's shaking when we are angry. Much of what we experience as humans comes from our bodily sensations, and emotions are no different. Showcasing emotions physically can also be a way to cultivate empathy for those who are struggling. Just as a heads up, for those of you with anxiety, maybe skip ahead to the next section. If you will take a moment, close your eyes. Now really take a second to focus on how your body feels. Do you have pain anywhere? Are your muscles tense? Just relax for a moment and take a deep breath. Now imagine you can't breathe. All of the oxygen is stripped from your lungs. You're trying so hard to take in a breath of air. It feels like an insurmountable weight is on your chest, and your entire body is collapsing from an invisible pressure. You don't want to feel this way, but your mind isn't in control of your body. Anything, please make this suffocating stop. I can't breathe. This was my experience when I had a panic attack for the first time. You can look at these symptoms and understand, but hopefully my explanation made you feel something in your body in a way this information can't. Showcasing these feelings physically in gaming can create so much awareness and create meaningful conversations about mental health. We can also become better social resources to those around us. I might be able to recognize my friend is having a panic attack and help them accordingly, or see that my sibling is shaking with anger. Recognizing the physical symptoms has just as much value as our emotional reactions to a situation. I think Eleanor deserves a section of her own because her character is so meaningful. She suffers from Alzheimer's disease. Even in academia, Alzheimer's isn't fully understood. Age-related changes in our body augment the way our brains process information. Eventually, we forget how to do even the most simple tasks. Dealing with this disease sounds incredibly emotionally and physically taxing. Eleanor's character is so powerful because Alzheimer's is rarely dealt with in gaming or media in general. Alex understands how intimidating it can be to live with this condition. Showing these difficulties on screen lets us better understand how this disease works and what it feels like. We get to see firsthand what a person's reality might look like who has Alzheimer's. We experience the fear that comes from losing touch with those we care about. The uncertain feelings of what comes next when you can't trust your perception anymore. Life is Strange shows us how to help those with Alzheimer's. We can't take their struggles away, but by offering love and support, we can at least help with their mental anguish. Adding a character with a more niche condition spreads awareness in a lasting way. Someone who suffers from Alzheimer's can look up to Eleanor for inspiration. Life is Strange has always been LGBT friendly, and True Colors is no exception. In this game, you can either date Steph or Ryan. The narrative is pretty hands-off with our love life, which is nice. I never felt like I had to choose one person or the other. Taking pressure off the player in this way is nice because I can choose who I truly like better. Obviously, Steph is bae, but let me know down in the comments, are you Team Ryan or Team Steph? The first interaction you have about preferences is so endearing.
So are you into girls or what?
Even though it seems trivial, it felt done in a way that makes the player feel comfortable. The last thing a game wants to do is make a person feel like someone is hardcore questioning their sexuality. Alex is also such an inspiring character for so many. Life is Strange is a pretty popular game, so having LGBT characters in it makes a tremendous impact. Someone who is exploring their sexuality might see Alex's confidence in her own and feel inspired, or take a risk in the same way Steph did. We all need personas who we can identify with on a personal level, whose plights are similar to our own. Steph and Alex can inspire others to be comfortable with who they are, which can make a world of difference. Dealing with death is never easy. Everyone processes grief in their own way, although some ways are healthier than others. In True Colors, we understand through the narrative how destructive loss can be. Ryan, Ethan, Charlotte, Steph, even Alex interpret Gabe's death differently. While some blame themselves, others push the blame somewhere else. These feelings aren't without consequences, but no matter how frustrated we become, we can't change the past. This person isn't coming back. Fairly recently, I dealt with the loss of my mother. So for me, this game gave me a lot of perspective. When Alex takes in negative feelings about Gabe's death, we can see the toll it takes on her. The pain is clear on her face. She's sad and angry, afraid of what's yet to come. Even though she's helping others, these are partially her feelings as well. A few of the characters start to change their perception thanks to our hero. Happiness and euphoria seem to be the healthiest ways to process loss. Compared to other feelings, these help the characters appreciate their relationship with Gabe. When Ryan is angry, he's thinking about himself and what he did wrong. But when they take time to reminisce about the good old days, everything feels light and airy. They love their friend and miss the fun times. This isn't to say feeling sad or angry is wrong. It's perfectly normal, and I felt a lot of these feelings as well. Although when it begins to negatively impact others, then it becomes problematic. Lashing out at others after loss isn't healthy and detracts from others' grief. Perspective can make a huge difference. When I first lost my mom, I felt crushed. Such a big part of my life is now gone. Although after dealing with my grief, games like Life is Strange and Gris constantly give me new ways to interpret loss. There is so much power in sharing painful experiences through media. We can gain insight into our lives in a unique way. Finding happiness can feel impossible after loss, but it's worth searching for. Thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Life is Strange True Colors is a psychological masterpiece that deserves so much praise. Empathy is such a powerful tool that so many of us have at our disposal. We don't need to have the same gifts as Alex to help people in the same way. Understanding the physical symptoms of emotions or the mental anguish of loss can allow us to aid those in need. Dealing with pain and depression are battles that we all face. The sadness and anger can be overwhelming. Prioritizing natural beauty in times of adversity can be a way to uplift ourselves. Trying to stay positive and remember good times can help with the grieving process tremendously. But most importantly, reaching out to those we care about. We need more games like this. Games that are willing to have visceral and raw conversations about mental health. Let me know down in the comments, how did Life is Strange impact you? Did you gather any new insight or perspectives after playing this game? I'd love to hear from you.